understand that you are now elected members of the House of Commons. So that should be your platform for airing your views. The one thing I am concerned about is people use, and I've been guilty of this in the past, I use far right as an expression because, and I was told by the previous administration, be careful using that expression because far right is a legitimate political view. Now, far right is how I would describe Nigel Farage and Lee Anderson. They know that their rhetoric against immigration and anti-Muslim, anti-Islam rhetoric is dangerous, but they continue to use it. But they're using it, and I find it hard to believe that we allow elected politicians to have their own television shows and radio stations, and they should be debating their view in the House of Commons, where they were elected to serve the people who voted for them. And the 4 million people who voted for reform will not all be far right. You know, this spectrum of people goes from centre-right, one nation conservatives, who are not very far from centre-left people who may have a concern about levels of immigration and levels of resourcing to deal with that, and who are not racist, to right-wing politicians who say we have a legitimate right to talk about these issues in public and we should be able to debate them. They're right, they should. To far-right politicians who, in my view, are overt racists, who are making images and rhetoric and language and using their platform to stir up hatred against race. That is incredibly dangerous. That's what I've warned about for years, that we are mainstreaming those kind of social influences. And at the far, far right is the extreme right-wing terrorist. Now, all 4 of those groups will have been represented across the country over the last 2 weeks, all 4 of them, committing different levels of activity from legitimate protest and peaceful protest all the way up to egregious acts of what I have described as terrorism. You surround a mosque with people trapped inside and you set fire to it. That I have no doubt in my mind that if you're doing that for the ideological cause of hating Muslims and making sure that Muslims are terrified and leave your country, that is a terrorist offence.